This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to Talk Business and Politics Daily. It's Monday, July 11th. Let's check out today's top stories. Senator John Boozman releasing his second quarter fundraising numbers a little early with good reason. They're pretty good. Boozman, who's running for re-election against Democrat Connor Eldridge and Libertarian Frank Gilbert, raised $596,000 in the quarter and is sitting with cash on hand of right under $2.1 million. Boozman's raised more than $4 million for the cycle. Arkansas is moving forward with changes that, when implemented, could save $50 to $70 million a year in behavioral health costs and $52.5 million in pharmacy costs. Those were some of the topics discussed Monday by the Stephen Group, the consultant hired by the Health Reform Legislative Task Force. The consultants also told legislators that the state has increased the estimated cost of the state's 5-year match for Arkansas Works from $9.04 billion to $9.35 billion. The primary reason because of increased drug costs. With a little help from a record Powerball and administrative and marketing changes, the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery saw record-breaking sales in several categories and a major increase in funding for college scholarships. Total sales for the fiscal year ended June 30th were $455 million, up about 11% over the previous year. Net proceeds available for scholarships, $85.4 million. That's about $6 million above projections. Bank of the Ozarks on Monday kicked off its second quarter earnings period, posting a $54.5 million quarterly profit. That's up 21% from a year ago. Bank of the Ozarks CEO George Gleason described it as, quote, "We are clearly hitting on all cylinders." The University of Arkansas at Fort Smith has received nearly $2 million for 2 workforce development grants from the Arkansas Department of Higher Education to implement educational programs for 2 high-demand career fields, robotics and computer science. Through the grants, the university will create career paths for local students in Fort Smith, Greenwood, and Charleston to address the current and emerging need for high-skilled manufacturing careers in the region's workforce. And those are your top stories of the day. You can check out a full read on those articles and some other stories that are in process at our website at talkbusiness.net. After the break, John Brummett talks politics. We'll recap Sunday's TV program with Governor Asa Hutchinson. And what's going on with Arkansas gas prices? Have you noticed if they're going up or down? We're back after this.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Well, every Monday we sit down with John Brummett, political writer for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. He's a Talk Business and Politics contributor too. Welcome back, as always. Good to have you.
Good to be here.
I want to talk about your Sunday column this past week.
What about it?
What about Hillary?
What was wrong with it?
Nothing was wrong with it. I just want to get your deeper interpretation of it there. You basically said, if I may paraphrase, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Hillary Clinton, with this email server scandal, she committed negligence without really hurting anybody,
right.
Is kind of what you said.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, there are several ways under the criminal laws that you can commit a crime. One is you do something that is prescribed in law that you can't do, that wasn't actually here. There's no law that says you may not have a private server for information that may be classified that's sent to another authorized person. The other is you intended to hurt the country by doing it. You set up this private server so that Putin or ISIS or somebody could get it. That wasn't the case here. Or the third is you're just so negligent or careless, as the FBI director said she was, that there is an actual harm that resulted. There was none here, so far as we know. So for all the partisan wishing that she could be charged with a crime, You simply, under the laws by which we live, there was no basis to charge her. She was not the benefit of privilege. She was the benefit of law and luck.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's just the way it goes.
So that'll stop all of the partisan bickering over this completely.
I thought that it would, and I thought that this would get wide distribution and that this column would go viral and that this issue would be put to bed, but apparently not. Even though some people have said they actually sort of understood that. And that's, in this day and age, if you can get anybody to admit you've got a point, that's a victory.
Last week, you said you didn't think this would change the narrative very much, and
was I right?
I think you were probably right. But you see the Republicans in Congress, they may set up as many as 6 different committees to investigate the FBI's investigation of all this. Do you foresee an overplaying of the hand by the Republicans in Congress, like we have seen before?
Yes, yes. I just do. I don't think there's, in fact, I know there's not a great deal of goodwill for Hillary Clinton. And on this issue, I know a lot of people who are for her who wish she hadn't done her emails that way and wish she had a better explanation. But there is an appetite in our political climate, sort of an attention deficit disorder. Let's get on with something else. And when we get to a point in which people are thinking that's too much, that's when issues backfire. And I just think that's the case here.
Kind of like impeaching President Clinton back in the day. That was a little bit of an overreach.
That didn't work for them, did it?
It did not. All right, so let's pivot. Your Tuesday column is going to be about something you did last Friday, which is about something you wrote about several months ago, which was the 70s.
It all goes back to you.
Well, I'm letting you take full credit for it because you wrote a masterful piece. I even told you it was one of the best things you've ever written for us, if not the best. Did I not say that?
Yeah, it hurt my feelings because I thought the other things were good too.
So you wrote about the political era of the 1970s and what happened in Arkansas, but recap what happened last Friday.
On the occasion of Dale Bumper's passing, there's first day of this year, there was a lot of discussion about his time and the transformative time of the 70s. And you suggested, I give you full credit, that I do a piece for your magazine on the 70s as a dynamic and transformative and really very exciting decade in Arkansas politics. And I did. And then Nate Coulter, the new librarian, said, why don't you come down for our Butler Center's Legacy is in Lunch series and put a panel discussion together about that article. And I said, I'll do it if I can get the 3 perfect panelists, David Pryor, Archie Schaefer, and Ernie Dumas. And I thought I was home free. I wasn't going to have to do it. There's no way you can. But they all 3 did it. And so the event was Friday at noon. We had an overflow crowd at the Ron Robinson Theater. And we just had a heck of a time. In fact, I got a message this morning from Senator Pryor. He afraid he had too good a time and told too much and talked too much. He didn't.
Did you learn anything new in that discussion that you didn't already know?
Yes.
Yeah. Give me one thing.
Something about his own father encouraging John L. McClellan not to retire, not to get out of politics, which was great irony because then David Pryor ran in '72 against McClellan. And nearly beat him, but lost in that famous cookie jar debate. But yeah, he revealed that Big John was thinking about quitting, and David Pryor's own father helped talk him out of it and help get him some money and other things. The upshot of it was, I said, is that era of modernization and moderation, is it over? And I argue that it's not. I think there's something in Asa Hutchinson that clings to a little of that legacy. He wants to sort of conservatize it, but he still wants to continue it a little. They all said, no, it's over. It's a whole new era in Arkansas politics.
Well, you're the only one that's still dialed in and plugged in, so you're right.
I'm telling you,
they're wrong.
Asa Hutchinson is not Jindal or Brownback. He's a little, at the risk of hurting him politically, he's a little more moderate than they are, I firmly believe.
Yeah, all right, you just stuck the knife in his back there for him. And he's out of the country. You can't even defend himself.
Yeah.
All right, last question for you. We see there's likelihood we will have 2 medical marijuana proposals, one an initiated act, one a constitutional amendment proposal on the ballot this fall. What's your prediction?
See, there's this conventional wisdom that has arisen. I see it every time this comes up. Well, if we get both these on the ballot, more is less, and everybody will vote against both. And I asked somebody this morning, what exactly is the basis for that? Have you polled that point?
I haven't polled that point, no. I think it's just speculation.
Says who? And
the Family Council says that it's more dangerous with 2 of them on the ballot.
I think the people are ready to, in some form, legalize marijuana for medicinal purposes. It makes compelling sense. It's a matter of compassion and care in a culture in which we need our drugs for our illnesses and our pain. And I think it's more like, to me, it's more likely they both pass. In which case, which one's law?
I'm puzzled. I do not know.
By one,
the one that gets the most votes.
By one, the constitutional provision is that the one that gets the most votes. The other is the one that's a constitutional amendment obviously prevails over statute. We'll get to litigate that if it happens. But I think if they're both on the ballot, the issue, one of the differences being one says you can grow your own and the other says you can't. I'll predict to you today, I think it's more likely they'd both pass right now than both lose.
Well, we'll start exploring that. John Brummett, as always, good to have you with us, my friend.
My great pleasure.
All right, he's with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. You can catch him in the newspaper nearly every day. You can also catch him online at arkansasonline.com. After the break, a recap of Sunday's TV edition of Talk Business and Politics. Governor Asa Hutchinson, he's heading to Europe for a few good reasons. And we'll look at what's trending at the pump. Is your gas tank half empty or half full? This is Talk Business and Politics Daily.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
Gas prices in Arkansas. We've had some low gasoline prices for more than a year, historically speaking. Have you paid any attention to what's been happening lately? Arkansas gas prices have been falling for the last month, although you may not have noticed the average statewide price for a gallon of unleaded gasoline is hovering around $2.02 a gallon. That's all across Arkansas. That's more than 20 cents less than the national average of $2.24. Now, in several cities around the state, you can shave another dime off of that gas price there. That Arkansas average price in some cities is as low as $1.93. And a month ago, gas was about $2.07, almost 15 cents higher at the national level. And compared to a year ago, gas prices are about 50 cents lower. In early July 2015, gas prices were averaging about $2.43 a gallon in state and nearly $2.75 nationally. So what's driving those lower prices? Well, there's a worldwide oversupply of crude oil, keeping the price of fuel cheap. Plus, we haven't had any major disruptions like we sometimes see, such as hurricanes or refinery outages. So, knock on wood, the trend will continue. Now, you may have missed my interview with Governor Asa Hutchinson from this past week's Talk Business and Politics TV program. We air every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. on KATV Channel 7 in Central and South Arkansas, and Sunday at 10 a.m. on KAIT's NBC affiliate in Jonesboro and Northeast Arkansas. The governor's going to Europe ahead of the GOP convention, but it's not for a vacation. We'll recap after this.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy, and together we power life. Entergy.
At Deltic Timber Corporation, we believe in the responsible creation of communities, in the development of neighborhoods that bring convenience and comfort to life, while respecting the beauty and delicacy of nature. Like the harmonious balance of environment and expansion found in the thriving communities of Chenal Valley and Chenal Downs in Little Rock, and Red Oak Ridge in Hot Springs. Because the best communities in the natural state are the ones that help keep it that way.
This past Sunday on our broadcast edition of Talk Business and Politics, I sat down with Governor Asa Hutchinson. He's headed to London and Berlin on official state business. Will he come back with new jobs in hand? Let's find out. Let's change our focus here. You were about to head to Europe for trips to London and Berlin. You're going to be opening up an office in Berlin. You're going to be visiting the air show in London. What are you going to bring home from those experiences?
Well, I'm going to bring home continuing to build our presence globally, marketing Arkansas. I do not expect to come home with an announcement. We did last year, but that's not my anticipation this year. This is just doing the hard work of economic development. Whenever you look at the fact that we have a presence in Japan and in China, we don't have a presence in Europe. Opening up a European office is very important for us. As a state, we have one of our best global trading partners in Germany, France, the UK. Many companies, employees here in Arkansas are owned by European companies. And we want to be able to expand on that. We've got a great opportunity, whether it's the steel industry or whether it's aero defense, to be able to expand those opportunities in Arkansas. So down the road, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, I expect certainly production to come out of these trips, but sometimes you just do the hard spade work, and that's what we're doing this year.
Did the Brexit vote change anything in your estimation in terms of economic development and the European Union?
Actually, I think it increased the importance of this trip and the opening of the European office because now we have our longtime friend and ally, the UK, that's breaking off from the EU, so we want to make sure that relationship directly between Arkansas and the UK is strong and that we make any adjustments that needed, and likewise for the EU. So I think it gives us some opportunities, but primarily you want to go over there, continue building those relationships, and then seeing if we need to make any adjustments as a result of the Brexit vote. It is going to be a little bit of a slow process as they've had the vote, but they've got to actually implement that vote, which is going to be challenging and a lot of twists and turns in the months ahead.
Of course, you can catch more of that Governor Hutchinson interview in its entirety on our website at talkbusiness.net. And you can keep up with breaking news each and every day on that website. Plus follow us on Twitter at TB Arkansas or on Facebook or LinkedIn. Just plug in Talk Business and Politics to find us and follow. If you want to receive our daily email newsletters, they're free and you can receive them every morning in your inbox before 7 a.m. Just email me at roby@talkbusiness.net and I'll sign you up. And if you want to listen to a podcast of this show, perhaps on your commute to and from work, we're in the iTunes Store and on Stitcher, or you can just play us through your smartphone. Well, that wraps up today's Talk Business and Politics Daily Digital Newscast. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take care.